What up guys, welcome back to the channel. Turbo Nemo coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Sony E3 2016 press conference. I'm going to give you guys a full breakdown and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it. So without any further delay, let's talk about the Sony conference. And this year, they had a great games lineup. They did really good with all the games that they showed. I feel like that Sony did what Microsoft did last year, because Microsoft basically just hit back to back with games. And this year, Sony did the same thing. So I think that's huge. Now, Sony has always had a really good conference whenever it comes to gaming, especially their new IPs and their exclusive games. They have always hit it really hard with that aspect, and they did the same thing this year. Now, as for innovating their E3 conference, Sony knocked it out the park. They had an epic orchestra that was doing the God of War soundtrack, and it was such an amazing build-up for not only the start of the show where they paid their homage to the lives lost in Orlando. It was just so incredible. And then we had a transition to some gameplay where we saw this kid with the bow and arrow walk inside of a hut, and we didn't really know what it was. I personally thought it was like Horizon Zero Dawn, and then we just see Kratos coming out of the shadows with an epic man beard, and this was, dare I say, one of the best starts of a gaming conference in the history of E3. Now, after that epic intro with the God of War gameplay that we saw, we got a transition to some Horizon Zero Dawn gameplay, and Horizon Zero Dawn is looking to be a pretty interesting game. I played Far Cry Primal, I beat the whole game, and it kind of reminds me of this game, but instead of woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, there is dinosaur mechs and some crazy stuff going on, so it's definitely an alternate reality. It's almost like some, Optimus Prime Transformer type stuff going down, so it'll be interesting to see how this game turns out. I don't know if I'm going to buy it. I'll probably just rent it if anything, but it looks like it'll be really interesting. Now, the next game showcased is a new IP, and it's called Detroit Become Human. I have no idea what this game is going to be about, but the graphics look like they're going to be really cool, and the story looks like it is almost like a Groundhog Day type story, meaning if you mess up one part, then you can pretty much go back in time and kind of reanalyze and retry stuff. So I'm not really sure much about this game. It does look really freaking cool though. I probably will play it. I'm pretty sure they showed that at last year's E3. Now, the next game that they showcased was Resident Evil 7, and this is the start of the VR lineup for PlayStation VR. Even though we really didn't even get the announcement of the VR headset, we just knew that it was coming, and they showed off Resident Evil 7, so if you're into horror games, you would enjoy that game. I personally am not a big fan of that. I think that if it was like the original Resident Evil games, I probably would, but this is more of a VR experience, so to each its own. But the demo is available right now on PlayStation 4, so if you have a PS4, go download the demo and try it out. Now, the next game in their VR lineup is a game called Farpoint, and it looked like it'd be pretty interesting. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of VR. The only thing that's going to get me to play VR is most likely the Star Wars Battlefront Xwing VR missions, and this part kind of makes me angry because they have space battles in this damn VR experience, but not in the Battlefront game right now. So what the hell, EA? I don't want to have to buy a headset just to be able to play fucking space battles. Man, let me in my X-Wing so I could shoot motherfuckers. And then they revealed the Batman Arkham Vr, which had Mark Hamill's Joker laughing like a crazy motherfucker, and it looked like that would be very interesting as well. Like I said, this is the point in the show where I kind of like, it was a snooze fest for me, because I don't really, plan on buying a PSVR, mainly because I don't want to, play on 15 FPS on a PS4, especially in a VR experience. That would just get me seasick like crazy. Now, the price point for the Sony PSVR is $399, so it's basically $400 just to be able to get this VR headset. Now, obviously, I would personally wait until the Neo gets announced, and then you buy the VR headset with the Neo, because right now, the current generation console with the PlayStation 4, I don't think it's going to support VR very well. Now, for the next game that they showcased, it was some sort of sci-fi game. I had no idea what was going on. It was like something really weird, but then I saw a logo, and it was Infinite Warfare's campaign, and this is like some all-out Call of Duty, Star Trek, freaking Battlestar Galactica shit going on, and they showed some pretty cool stuff. I think I'll buy the game for the campaign and Cod4 Remastered, because, I was a really big fan of the Call of Duty Ghost campaign. They did a good job on that, so I'm gonna buy that game just for that point in particular. Now, the next thing that they revealed was Crash Bandicoot was gonna be in Skylanders, and they also showed off the Star Wars Lego version, which looks like it's basically a reskin of the movie, but just, with freaking Lego people. I'm probably not gonna buy that game. I was never interested in any of the Lego movies, or the Lego games for that matter, so that's one game that I kind of snoozed out and stopped paying attention. Now, after that snooze fest of VR stuff, they showed off the new Hideo Kojima game, He is back, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a game called Death Stranding. I have no idea what it's about, but it had Norman Reedus in his naked ass body on the freaking side of a beach, and there was a bunch of beached whales and stuff, and he had a baby that disappeared, and it was just so fucking freaky. But it looks like it's gonna be a really awesome game. I really love the Hideo Kojima games, and I'm so glad that he has his own studio and he's away from Konami completely. Now you guys can kind of understand the trend. I told you that they went back to back to back with games, and this is exactly how it went down. Now they showcased a new Insomniac game, which is a new Spider-Man, and if you guys know me personally, I love Insomniac games. They did Ratchet and Clank, and I love that game. Like, I love that whole franchise in general, so I'm definitely gonna be buying this new Spider-Man game. It's gonna be freaking incredible, man. Now a couple other games that they did showcase that I almost forgot to mention was The Last Guardian and Final Fantasy 15 and the VR experience with that. But yeah, guys, the last game that they showed was Days Gone. They had a whole experience with that. They showed a gameplay. It was like 8 minutes of gameplay, and it looks like it's gonna be a great new IP. It's a zombie game. You know how Sony loves their zombie games, and they had like swarms of them suckers. It's almost like World War Z, how crazy it was. So I can't wait to play that game on the release. Now, all in all, Sony had a great conference this year. They kind of played it safe, but they did have a lot of highs and some lows. Now, a couple of them that are really noticeable is gotta be the release dates. They showed a bunch of good games this year, but most of those games are not gonna be released for a couple years down the road, especially with the Hideo Kojima game and Days Gone. I don't really see those games coming out until 2017 and early 2018. So that's kind of upsetting, but you know, it is what it is. Now, as for the last point that I gotta make is they didn't show any of the PS4 Neo. I figured that they wouldn't. I kind of predicted that would happen because they're just not there yet, but it still would have been a really good idea to show off some specs like Xbox did. I think that the PS4 Neo is needed, especially whenever it comes to their PSVR that they showcased heavily this year. But yeah, guys, that's all for this video. Leave your feedback in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of the Sony conference. Did you like it better than the Xbox One? Leave it down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I will have my Xbox E3 wrap-up video up on the channel in the next couple days. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys, and until next time, this has been your boy Nemo, and I'm out. Peace. Bring the madness.